Ganpati the scribe. Ved Vyasa or Bhagwan Vyasa, the celebrated compiler of the Vedas, was the son of great sage Parasha. It was he who gave to the world the divine epic of Mahabharata. Having conceived the Mahabharata, he thought of the means of giving the sacred story to the world. He meditated on Brahma, the creator, who manifested himself before him. Vyasa saluted him with bowed head and folded hands and prayed, "Lord, I have conceived an excellent work, but cannot think of one who can take it down to my dictation." Brahma extolled Vyasa and said, "O sage, invoke Ganpati and beg him to be your amanuensis." Having said these words, he disappeared. The sage Vyasa meditated on Ganpati, who appeared before him. Vyasa received him with due respect and sought his aid. "Lord Ganpati, I shall dictate the story of the Mahabharata, and I pray you to be graciously pleased to write it down." Ganpati replied, "Very well, I shall do as you wish, but my pen must not stop while I am writing. So you must dictate without pause or hesitation. I can only write on this condition." Vyasa agreed, guarding himself, however, with a counter stipulation. "Be it so, but you must first grasp the meaning of what I dictate before you write it down." Ganpati smiled and agreed to the condition. Then the sage began to sing the story of Mahabharata. He would occasionally compose some complex stanzas which would make Ganpati pause a while to get at the meaning, and Vyasa would avail himself of this interval to compose many stanzas in his mind. Thus, the Mahabharata came to be written by Ganpati to the dictation of Vyasa. It was before the days of printing, when the memory of the learned was the sole repository of books. Vyasa first taught the great epic to his son, the sage Sukha. Later he expounded it to many other disciples. Tradition has it that Narada told the story of the Mahabharata to the Devas, while Sukha taught it to the Gandharvas, the Rakshasas and the Yakshas. It is well known that the virtuous and learned Vaisampayana, one of the chief disciples of Vyasa, revealed the epic for the benefit of humanity. Janmejaya, the son of the great king Parikshit, conducted a great sacrifice, in the course of which Vaisampayana narrated the story at the request of the former. Afterwards, this story, as told by Vaisampayana, was recited by Sutta in the forest of Naimisa to an assembly of sages under the leadership of the rishi Saunaka. Sutta addressed the assembly, "I had the good fortune to hear the story of Mahabharata composed by Vyasa to teach humanity dharma and other ends of life. I should like to narrate it to you." At these words, the ascetics eagerly gathered round him. Sutta then continued, "I heard the main story of the Mahabharata and the episodic tales containing therein told by Vaisampayana at the sacrifice conducted by King Janmejaya. Afterwards, I made an extensive pilgrimage to various sacred places and also visited the battlefield where the great battle described in the epic was fought. I have now come here to meet you all." He then proceeded to tell the whole story of the Mahabharata in the grand assembly. After the death of the great king Santanu, Chitrangada became king of Hastinapur, and he was succeeded by Vichitravirya. The latter had two sons, Dhritarashtra and Pandu. The elder of the two, being born blind, Pandu, the younger brother, ascended the throne. In the course of his reign, Pandu committed a certain offence and had to resort to the forest with his two wives, where he spent many years in penance. During this stay in the forest, the two wives of Pandu, Kunti and Madri, gave birth to 5 sons who became well known as 5 Pandavas. Pandu passed away while they were still living in the forest. The sages brought up the 5 Pandavas during their early years. When Yudhishthira, the eldest, attained the age of 16, the rishis led them all back to Hastinapur and entrusted them to the old grandsire Bhishma. In a short time, the Pandavas gained mastery over the Vedas and the Vedanta, as well as over the various arts especially pertaining to the Kshatriyas. The Kauravas, the son of the blind Dhritarashtra, became jealous of the Pandavas and tried to injure them in various ways. Finally, Bhishma, the head of the family, intervened to bring about mutual understanding and peace between them. Accordingly, the Pandavas and the Kauravas began to rule separately from their respective capitals, Indraprastha and Hastinapur. Sometime later, there was a game of dice between the Kauravas and Pandavas, according to the then prevailing Kshatriya code of honor. Shakuni, who played on behalf of the Kauravas, defeated Yudhishthira. As a result, the Pandavas had to be in exile for a period of 13 years. They left the kingdom and went to the forest with their devoted wife Draupadi. According to the conditions of the game, the Pandavas spent 12 years in the forest and the 13th year incognito. When they returned and demanded of Duryodhana their paternal heritage, the latter, who had in the meanwhile usurped their kingdom, refused to return it. War followed as a consequence. Pandavas defeated Duryodhana and regained their patrimony. Pandavas ruled the kingdom for 36 years. Afterwards, they transferred the crown to their grandson Parikshit and repaired to the forest with Draupadi, all clad humbly in barks of trees. This is the substance of the story of the Mahabharata. In this ancient and wonderful epic of our land, there are many illustrative tales and sublime teachings, besides the narrative of the fortunes of the Pandavas. The Mahabharata is in fact a veritable ocean containing countless pearls and gems. It is, with the Ramayana, a living fountain of the ethics and culture of our motherland.